As the bikers continue to mourn the loss of Paulo Gonçalves with their stage today cancelled, the cars head into some of the most spectacular dunes of this year's edition. Well, the emotion was still raw at the bivouac in Wadi Al Tawasir last night as the entire Dakar family came together to say farewell to one of their own, Paulo Gonçalves.
Paulo, c'était le courage,
was courage,
la persévérance,
perseverance, tenacity.
C'était ça, Paulo.
That was Paulo.
C'est ça que je veux
That's the
retenir
Paulo
de
I
lui
want to
ce
remember
soir.
tonight.
Et en la mémoire de
In memory of Paulo,
Paulo,
I'd like
je
you
vous demande
to
d'observer
observe a
une
minute's
minute de
silence.
silence. Merci à tous.
Thank you, everyone.
Paulo
Paulo will always stay in our
restera
hearts.
dans nos cœurs à tous. Alors,
So we've
on a
decided,
décidé avec toute la
along with the bike
le
riders,
départ, de ne pas lancer la course
not
demain
to start the
des
bike
motos.
race tomorrow.
Donc demain,
So only the
seuls
cars,
les
the
courses
trucks,
auto,
and the
camions
SSVs.
et SSV prendront le départ demain matin.
Well, after a difficult night's sleep, the bike and the quad riders stayed at the bivouac today, many of them still trying to process yesterday's tragedy.
I think yesterday was my worst day in my life and for sure in my career. It's my 10th Dakar and yeah, it's my first really bad experience like this. And yeah, of course this make you think about everything.
I remember him stopping for me in 2017 when I broke my leg in Dakar, and yeah, it was just a bit of the right thing to do for him, and we helped get him into the helicopter, and at least I knew I was there for him, and yeah, tried to comfort him as much as possible, and then just thoughts and prayers go to his family and friends and everyone in Portugal that they lost a good warrior, that's for sure.
Well, as the Dakar mourned, the news filtered through that the rest of Gonçalves' hero team have now pulled out of the rally.
Yes, buddy! Well done, well done, hey! That is so cool, man. Well done. Being part of Dakar and then to win a stage on top of that was just a cherry on the top. Third stage then, started off in the front and opened the road, which was an amazing feeling for me. You know, you got the fastest rally riders in the world chasing you down. So it was a really fantastic feeling. Unfortunately, at kilometer 88, I made a small mistake.
I just had a bit of a crash.
It's impossible to start.
I'll try to finish for sure.
Okay. You fell on the right side?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's in the right position. Okay. It's not dislocated. Okay, maybe just muscles.
Okay, I can carry on.
No.
Yeah.
Is your pain when you're breathing?
A little bit.
A little bit in your back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you can go on?
Yeah, I'll go slow, I try.
Okay. You want something for the pain?
You have something?
Yeah.
You know, I had a crash and unfortunately separated my shoulder and knocked my head a little bit. But we got going again. We lost a lot of time, an hour and a half, but managed to get to the finish line in a few pieces, not just one piece. The long stage, unfortunately the moose collapsed and 177 k's I had to ride on the rim, and then when we got 400 meters from the finish line, the chain broke. I couldn't push the bike there. It was too heavy and in thick sand, and I could literally see the finish line just looking at me. I had to wait for about an hour before another competitor so gladly came along and helped me pull the bike to the finish line, which is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. The 400 meters was insane.
Well, this is the Dakar, isn't it? We're all friends in good times and bad. He would have done exactly the same thing for me.
We were lucky enough, my teammates towed me to the media centre, and then one of my other teammates towed me back to the bivouac that night. So that was the end of a really emotional roller coaster ride of a week for me.
With the hero gone, let's remind ourselves of what is happening in the race itself.
You know, my position at this point right now doesn't really matter. You know, I think the loss of someone that we're really close with is more important. There's so much more to life than just the first place.
Brabec will remain in the lead when the bikes resume on stage 9 after this day of reflection. Everybody affected across the bivouac. Sadly, another of our biker family has gone. It's always the same question we ask ourselves: what are we doing here? In the cars, Stefan Petter Hansel and Nasser Al-Attiyah will continue to chase down the rally leader, Carlos Sainz. A diminished field today, the cars, trucks and SSVs will have no outriders.
Stage 8 is a loop around Wadi Al Dawasir. It's a lovely stage and quite varied. Some mountains, ridges, more dunes, and it'll still be tricky with navigation in the middle. A very complete stage indeed for this loop. As winner of stage 7, Carlos Sainz was first off the line. Now, a side effect of stage 8's cancellation for bikes was that the cars were first to break the seal on the sand in the early morning with no tracks to follow, and it really affected the front runners. Nasser and Stefan caught up with Carlos, but ultimately taking the lead of the peloton was a poisoned chalice, and nobody wanted it. This game of pursuit continued for large parts of the stage. Here we see Nasser cutting back to rejoin behind the minis, and this meant the overall pace was slower than yesterday, and also a real mix-up for the status quo, with Sainz finishing 15th quickest on the stage and the top 3 well off the pace of the scratch time. Petter Hansel was still adrift overall in 3rd and still getting to grips with English navigation from Fusa. Very, very complicated stage. No bikes, so no tracks to follow. And rapidly Nasser and Stefan caught up with me. Then they went 10, 12 minutes ahead, and then I caught up with them. Then I got lost in the last section. Stefan and Nasser overtook me again. Martin Prokop in his MP Sports Run Ford-wrapped RS Cross Country almost didn't make to the start line of Dakar 2020 after a crash on Rallye du Maroc, which destroyed the car and injured regular co-driver Jan Tomanek. But with Viktor Chitka now navigating, the Czech driver's 5th Dakar is going steady. Currently in 14th overall, but looking unlikely to better his result of 6th last year. Now, he may have squandered his chances of a podium on stage 1, but Polish star Jakub Brzezinski is gathering crucial experience for future Dakars in Saudi, and today showed good pace in 6th. For much of the special, it looked like we might have a Saudi stage winner on home soil, but Yazid Al-Rajhi dropped off the pace towards the end of the stage. Argentine Orly Terranova has been consistently good since briefly leading the rally back after stage 2. This 3rd quickest time today consolidates his 5th place overall as the highest placed 4x4 Mini. Well, this is a watershed moment for Formula 1 and Le Mans star Fernando Alonso, 2nd quickest today, despite having to stop to change a puncture along the way. Mark Comer seems to be the perfect co-driver for him, both for navigation and quick tyre changes. Maybe we'll see him doing his own pit stops at the Indy 500. Back underway with some dust trails to follow up ahead.
Well, I think the dunes are probably the part that for whatever reason I feel more comfortable. I'm not coming from the dunes at all, but it seems that I can get a good rhythm, a good flow in the dunes, and I'm enjoying so far this second week of Dakar.
And so to the privateer buggy of Mathieu Serradori and Fabien Lequin. Yesterday we saw them getting stuck in the dunes, but it seems that was a blessing in disguise. Starting 16th on the road meant they had plenty of tracks to follow with confidence and went on to win the stage, practically perfect for 477 kilometres, the first ever Dakar stage win for the French ex-biker. It was really tough mentally yesterday because of Paolo. I think we can dedicate this victory to him. I'm a former biker, so I know what I'm talking about. I dedicate this to him on high. Well, this has shaken things up. None of the top three in the top 5 on the stage. Best ever stage results for both Serradori and Alonso. Terranova in 3rd, De Villiers in 4th. Nasser has taken more than 3 minutes out of Sainz's lead. Now, let's get to know the man who was the real star of Stage 8, Mathieu Serradori.
There are the Minis, the Toyotas, and then there's Mathieu Serradori. The Frenchman made history, becoming the first amateur since 1988 to win a stage on the Dakar. In his CR7 buggy, he's even become a rival for the big gun.
I'm really happy today. I believe we entered the battle a bit earlier than expected. Without being too serious, we do things seriously. On the first week, we were careful not to try and be too much in contact with the best. We could, but we chose to stay careful and to fight for position.
After 3 Dakars on a bike, he is no longer here just to participate.
Since we switched to cars, we're far more structured and we can consider finishing well in the standings. We're a privateer team, a family team. We learnt to adapt to off-road rally conditions. We looked at what the others were doing, what was good and what wasn't. On the Dakar we have 10 people working for us, plus the 2 crews. We're 14 with my father as the team manager, 15 people in the team this year. If I destroy the car on the day, obviously that gives them a lot of work during the night, added to the fact they have to drive all day to get to the next stage. The factory teams have huge means compared to our structure. If they attack all day, they know that their car can be entirely rebuilt during the night. Today it's a question of money and a question of taking risks or not. We try to find a good compromise.
Well, a nice story over in the SSVs. Cyril Desprez and Mike Horn sacrificing their engine so that their young teammate Mitchell Guthrie can keep going and keep learning in the Dakar Experience class.
We decided to give our engine. That's the true story and the heart of the Dakar, is to be able to help each other, to be able to support each other, to be able to be as a big family living in adventure all together.
Well, Guthrie repaying that investment with interest as he went quickest on Stage 8, although he's no longer in the running overall, of course. Another tough day for Gerard Faris. Last year's runner-up hasn't been having too much joy on this Dakar, and he's over 6 hours off the pace now. Better fortune for his teammate Ronaldo Varela, the 2018 champion, second quickest, only 2.5 minutes behind Guthrie. Jaleco Lopez was all of 22 seconds slower than Varela, and he clawed back a bit of time as he bids to defend his crown. Nearly 11 minutes drop for Sergei Karyakin, but he is still comfortably third overall, around 30 minutes ahead of Konrad Rautenbach. Here's the overall leader, Casey Curry. The American also had a tough outing after some early mechanical problems, but limited the damage thanks to some quick-fire repairs from his co-driver Sean Berryman. 16 minutes down on the day, he still has over 15 minutes in hand over Chaleco in the overall standings.
Today wasn't the best of the days. We broke an axle early on. Luckily, I got Sean in the car. What I think takes most guys 45 minutes, we got it fixed in I think 8 minutes.
Chaleco almost halving the deficit in the space of one stage. He was 32 minutes down this morning. Rautenbach just ahead of Jose Antonio Hinojo in fourth.
Top shape. The problem is that behind there are all the guys who were stuck in the dunes yesterday. They're going to bother us all day. No, they're not. We're going to go fast. They're going to overtake, and I hate that. They're not going to overtake, okay? Now stop crying. I'm not crying. Straight on. We should see a signpost on the right somewhere. A signpost in the middle of the desert? It should be now. Don't you see it? We're in the middle of the desert. I don't see many signs. Why are we in trouble? Because we didn't see the sign. Go. Full speed ahead. Full speed. Maybe someone rolled on the sign. That's possible. Drive. Right. Brake and go right. You mean left. Good, you're starting to understand. Damn signpost. Damn sign. We didn't see that damn sign. Saudi Arabia has welcomed the Dakar in outstanding fashion.